All right, so I think we're recording. Hopefully that will work. Okay, so the first step is drawing lines. So you're literally going to take a piece of paper like this. Hopefully you guys at home can make this out. And again, when you hold your pencil, this is how I want you to hold it. Underhand, like in the palm of your hand like this. You're not holding it like this. Hold it like this. And you're going to grasp it between your middle finger, your thumb, and your index finger, like that. Okay? And then, and you can tilt your paper at an angle. Then you're going to just practice drawing parallel lines. From one end of the paper to the other. And you're going to fill a whole sheet. Now, if you want to do something like, draw 2 points and then try to connect the points with the line, you can do that. But notice that I am holding the pencil this way, but I also have my wrist locked. I'm not turning my wrist. Keep it locked and straight. And you can't really tell from the video, but I am moving my entire arm up through my shoulder as I do this. This is not as easy as it looks. And I'm going from side to side. Don't go up and down. Don't do that. Just the trick is to go from side to side, and then if you need to go in a different direction, turn the paper. So if you have to go another direction, don't try to do it up and down. Like, just turn the paper and then, do it from that direction so that now you're going this way. And remember, you want nice, straight, smooth, parallel lines. Lines that should not touch each other. Does it seem a little silly to do? Yes. Does it seem like you're not really doing anything? Yes. But you really are. Just like Daniel in Karate Kid didn't think he was doing anything or learning anything when he was painting the fence and sanding the floor and waxing the cars. His muscle memory was recording those actions. All right? You're doing the same thing. But in order for it to work, you got to do a lot of it. So then you just keep, then start over on another sheet and do more. If your lines are kind of wobbly or they don't look right, don't worry. Just keep going. But remember, you got to have your wrist locked. You got to hold your pencil like this. And you've got to move your whole arm as you do it. Okay? And be quick. Don't be slow and tentative. Like, just do like a sweeping, quick sweeping motion like that. Okay? So that's step one, is filling up just sheets and sheets of paper like this and just getting used to that. Then, once you are confident enough, and you've done, bunches of these things, then the next step is to draw a cube. Now here is the process for doing that. And this process matters. I am going to tell you the order in which you're supposed to draw, and then you need to do these steps in the proper order, okay? If you don't, it's not going to look right. So I know you might not think it's going to matter, but it will. I'm sharpening my pencil really quick here. All right, so step one is you're going to draw what's called an anchor line. And that's just kind of to anchor your drawing to the paper. It should be somewhere, you know, in the lower part of your drawing. But I've got a big sheet of paper here, so I'm going to be drawing all over. All right. So there's your anchor line. So that's step one. Step two is you're going to draw a 30-degree angle, or as close to 30 degrees as you can get it, that intersects that anchor line, like so. Hopefully you guys can make that out. Now remember what I said before about axes all being parallel, right? Now you're going to draw the back edge, all right? So if this is X, then these are both parallel to each other. Then you need to draw another parallel line going this way for Y. If your lines are a little long and they form that little X, that's actually a good thing. And I'll tell you why in a second. So step one, anchor line. Step two, front angle. Step three, back angle. Now we have the bottom of our box. Now, for the Z axis, you're going to draw lines going straight up. This is going to be the height of your box. And again, all those lines on Z have to be parallel. Yeah? Okay. Now you're going to do the top of your box. And again, X, anything on X is parallel, anything on Y is parallel. So this is parallel to this is parallel to this. Now you're going to do the same thing for the back edge. Parallel, parallel. And there you have it. Again, let me say, this is a lot harder than it looks. I saw some of your still life drawings. Some of you had like boxy kind of objects in your still lifes. Some of you really struggled to just draw a box with straight edges that weren't all tilted, okay? It's not easy to do, okay? So you're going to need, again, to fill up pages and pages and pages of this stuff. All right? I have pages and pages of this stuff here. I've done this a lot. That's why I can do it quickly and make it look pretty easy. All right? So again, let's go through it again. Anchor line. Front angle, that's 30 degrees. Back angle, parallel sides. Make your lines a little bit longer than they need to be, because then that gives you that little X, and it's almost like a target that you can intersect and go through. Do your Z height parallel with each other. Then draw the top of the box. I'm not exaggerating when I say you need to do this hundreds of times before it really, really starts to become second nature. But again, this is all about muscle memory. Once you have the basic cube down, then you can start doing variations of it. Right? You can maybe go a little bit longer with one side. And then, you know, do a rectangular box. Okay? Then you could take that box and subdivide it. Like, find the midpoint. Draw another, like a little subdivision. Then you could extend it out. Again, as long as you're keeping all those lines parallel on every axis, it shouldn't be a problem. Then I can go up here, up here. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Is that better? Okay. So you can keep adding on to this. You know, you can add another subdivision. Draw through. Notice, too, that I am drawing through the form. I am drawing these things as if they're transparent. They're see-through, right? That's intentional. You want to be able to see your back edges as much as possible. I can go up now with this one. All right, so you can keep adding on to that all day long. It's actually kind of fun. Can you guys at home see that, what I'm doing? Is that making sense? Okay. Okay, so lines and boxes are what we are going to start with. But let me show you what comes next for future reference. Once we get this down, then we're going to start thinking about ellipses. All right? Now, again, an ellipse is a fancy term for an oval. So, if I have a round object like this, it's got my pencil shavings in it, it looks like a circle, right? But as soon as I start to tilt it, this perfect circle starts to become an ellipse. You see it? So you're going to have situations where you're looking at objects and, you know, they're going to be tilted. They're going to be like, you know, above or below your eye level. And you're going to have to, you know, draw that. So let's look at how that works. Imagine you have a perfect square. Remember, it's a shape right now. It's just a flat square, right? Now, I'm going to subdivide it. I'm going to find the midpoints horizontally and vertically, and I'm going to divide it into 4 smaller squares. Then I'm going to, you don't necessarily have to do the diagonals, but it helps. I'm going to do diagonal. By the way, what I just did, not easy to do. I'll zoom in a little bit so you guys can see that. You see that? A perfect square that has been subdivided into, and having that right in the center. Now, I'm going to take, I'm going to start an arc. Doesn't matter which point you start from. I usually start from right here. And you're going to draw an arc from here to here. Then you're going to flip that, mirror it, do the same thing again, and go from there to there. Then you're going to go flip it again. And now you have created a perfect circle from that square. And you just want the edges to just kind of just barely graze or barely touch those points, right? So you don't want a lopsided thing. Like, you don't want to do something like this where, you know, you got it subdivided and then the things are like coming at points or they're lopsided. Like, you don't want that. That's bad. You want a nice, smooth ellipse, all right? And again, I can show you. Like page after page after, I have so many of these, after page all right, so it takes practice, is my point. Oh, here it is. Right? Do a lot. It's all about muscle memory, like I said. Okay? So, and yes, I drew that SpongeBob using the structure method, so that's why I did that. Okay. So, it's going to be, it's not the most exciting thing. I think it's fun, but, you know, you're going to have to get used to just drawing square after square after square. And then draw your arcs. Now what happens if we take this square and we tilt it in space? Okay? So let's draw, let's imagine that square, but we're tilting it back. So it looks something like this. All right? And then we subdivide it, find the midpoints. Okay? Then now when we do our ellipse, our curves, we've got a compressed circle. We've got, or in other words, it's an ellipse, it's an oval, right? So a circle, again, in perspective, right, circle, but if we tilt it in space, in perspective, it's an ellipse, it's an oval, okay? So once you get the circles down, practice drawing, and you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be tilted lines. You could do it like that, like in a, or like a rectangular thing too, if you want to, either way. So, practice drawing ellipses. Someone's really paying attention. It's all right. I'm teasing you. It's all right. Okay, so cubes, then cubic forms, then circles, then ellipses. Then that's going to lead us to eventually doing cylinders. So let's do a cube, like so. But now we subdivide it. And we do the same to the back. Find the midpoints, subdivide. Then you connect the ends together, and now you have a cylinder. And ideally, what you can do, anchor line, you can combine forms to make different things. Like, so I'm starting out with a basic box. But what if I start to make subdivisions here in the box? And I start to play around with like carving out. This is what's called a subtractive method. Or it's like I start out with like a block of wood almost, theoretically speaking, and now I'm kind of carving away parts of it. Right? So then you can do shapes like this. And then I can add on a part to it. Like, what if I add another square here, run it through to the back, notice how I'm drawing through the form so I can see the back edges. Then I can subdivide that. Now I'm doing an additive form where I'm adding another piece onto it. So I'm doing subtractive and additive together. Then I do a smaller one up here. Then I can carve away parts of it again. I can add another part onto it. So you mean make like a little race car or something, I don't know. It's all, like you can start off with basic primitive shapes or forms. You can either carve into them subtractively or add on to them additively and create objects. And that's eventually where we're going to head. That's what we're going to do. Like, I'm going to give you guys objects to do so that, you know, you'll be able to draw, like, I had one, where did it go? Well, here's one I did from previously. It's like a, you know, like an ambulance toy. But I had a robot. Oh, here we go. Like a robot. that we'll do eventually. See how I'm combining cylindrical and cubic forms together? I'm getting ahead of myself. That's like weeks from now, but we'll get there, okay? So don't be overwhelmed. The main thing is right now, does the basic concept of this make sense? Does this all make sense? The lines and the boxes, that's what we're going to start with, okay? And then just drawing lots and lots of lines. Okay. So then, and let me also say this. You can get, and I will put a copy of this in resources. They do make like isometric graph paper like this. So that, you know, if you're first starting out and you're having a hard time creating that 30-degree angle, this makes it very easy to keep straight parallel lines. So if you are struggling at first, this is helpful to use, but this is not something that you're going to be able to use on your actual projects. This is just for like, if you're really struggling, if you can't just do a freehand 30-degree line like that, and you're really struggling, then, you know, you can print off some of that stuff if you want. I know you can buy it at the store too, but I don't, you know, I find free ones online and I print them off and I use them. Okay, so that's also available for you if you decide later that you need just for practice. But again, it's not for final stuff. See, then I was adding on to stuff. You can add on to this all day long and make it higher, make it wider, make different shapes out of it. You know, subdivide it. Do an ellipse. All kinds of stuff. Okay? Any questions about any of this so far? But the steps are very important, and I want to emphasize that. I have included those in the PowerPoint, but these steps here, in this order, are very important. You got to do them in this order and learn them that way. And once you memorize it, you'll never forget it. Okay? Okay, so we have about 15 minutes left, 20 minutes left. So I want everyone right now, in your sketchbooks or on a piece of paper, to practice drawing some lines, some straight lines. Remember, hold your pencil like this, underhand. Move your whole arm up through your shoulder, and you can tilt your paper as necessary. And just practice drawing those straight lines. And I'm just going to keep filling up this page with various cubes, circles, ellipses, etc. Because frankly, I think this is fun. I am relaxed. Every time I draw, I'm able to draw a nice, smooth circle. It's like I feel a little more relaxed each time. It's almost like meditation, like therapy. Remember, move your arm up through your shoulder. Keep your wrist locked. And you're just drawing straight lines. Okay, I think we got the point here.